Hello there, and welcome to Fake Swords,
Real Feelings.
That's right, I'm on my own today because as you can see, Dylan is wildly indisposed. Is indisposed the word? I'm not even sure, but I'm going to use it anyway. So, why are we making this? Why am I making this video today? Because a load of people have asked us, I keep waiting for the bit where Dylan will say, how do I make a character in Empire? And then I would say, that's absolutely right, Dylan. How do you make a character in Empire? But unfortunately, I'm going to have to do all of those bits on my own today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and folks at home, is heartbreaking. But I have set up here in this lovely meadow, in this armor, because there are Druge around. And Druge shoot arrows at people. And what am I talking about, you might ask? Well, if you've not been to an Empire, you won't know, and I'm sorry. But that's what this video is here to help you about, because in order to go to an Empire, you need a character. And in order to have a character, you need to know how to build a character. And I suppose in order to do any of that, you need to know what a LARP is. So let's start there. LARP, or live action role playing, is a game. That's all it is. It's a game. If you've ever played D&D or any TTRPG or Skyrim or Baldur's Gate, it's not a million miles from any of them. The only difference is, in LARP, we get dressed up in cool mage robes or clanky armor or, you know, dirty peasant gear if you're a marcher. I said what I said. And we go out and we roleplay like you would in D&D or like you would in any other kind of role-playing game. And it's all done cumulatively in a shared space, which is usually a field. But there are other LARPs that are done in castles or in, you know, villages or all sorts of interesting locales. But specifically, for the purpose of this video, we're talking about Empire. And Empire is, at present, in a field. It's a very, very nice field. So that's what live action roleplay is. When you actually get boots on the ground, it's kind of 3 days of walking around, talking to people, interacting, roleplay. There's combat. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. And there's politics. There's religious game. That's what I play. I'm a priest, kind of a battle priest, paladin-y kind of thing. And that's a decision I made about my character. Which brings me to, I guess, the next question and probably the title of this video. How do I make my character in Empire LARP? So before we jump into all the stuff on the screen here, let's just talk about the first things you should do when you're thinking about a character. So when I'm thinking about making a character for a new LARP, what I like to do is think about, if I were playing a video game or a TTRPG, what kind of character do I want to play? Do I want to be a sneaky rogue, or do I want to be a zealous paladin screaming scripture as I smite people with my flaming sword? While the flaming sword might be hard to manage, the rest is entirely doable in LARP. And honestly, the flaming sword is probably doable too. So think about broad archetypes that you like, and then look at how they apply to the setting. Empire is its own universe. It's its own setting with its own rules, its own history, all that kind of thing. So my first bit of advice would be go and research Empire. And people have different attention spans, people have different, you know, ways of intaking information. Thankfully, the community at Empire is massive and there's a million ways to do this. So you can go on the wiki, which is, if you just Google Empire LARP wiki, it'll bring it to you. It has reams of information about the game. I think there's several Bibles worth of information about the game on that wiki. But you just want to look at the broad strokes pages, and when you're making your character, the page I'd recommend you go to first is Nations on the wiki. So Nations just breaks down all of the different nations in the game, because that's kind of the factions you as a player can be a part of are the nations. So I'm a part of Dawn, which is big, clanky knights, tabards, Arthurian kind of glory-chasing maniacs, for lack of a better word. but it's all high concept, like glory and love and, you know, charging into battle with a big sword and a shield and a smile on your face, and then everybody dies and then everybody mourns really dramatically as all the bodies are laid out in the glory square. And again, I've lost you because you're new to this, but it's very exciting. So the first thing you need to do is think, what kind of nation do I want to be? So pull up the nation page, have a look at them all. I'm going to see if I can list them all off the top of my head, which is a game we like to play in this channel. So let's go through them. We've got the Marchers, who are kind of agrarian focused. I joked that they're peasants, and I'm going to double down on it. They're agrarian focused peasants. They like the land. They hate when people try to take the land. They like crops. They like and hate the Jotun with equal ferocity, I guess. So they kind of play in a very down-to-earth game where they're usually extremely likable characters. They march with bill blocks. They're all kind of like got apples in their pocket in case they die, and an apple seed will sprout into a tree, and it's all very lovely. So that's kind of broad strokes the marches. Then we have the League. Now the League are bombastic duelists and bankers, and they hide secrets behind mirrors and enclosed doors where people are trading extortionate amounts of money. They are extremely high society usually. They, I guess, visually look like Renaissance Italy to a degree. There's a lot of masks are big in the League, and dueling as well. So there's a lot of like rapiers and, you know, court politics and stuff like that. After them, we have Varushka. Varushka are monster hunters and warders of the roads. They are protectors, and hearth and welcome is big for Varushka. So for them, they give kind of a witchery vibe almost, kind of Witcher meets European steppes. So again, I'll have images up on the screen here of Varushka, but I really enjoy playing Varushka. A typical night I've spent in Varushka is being welcomed around a huge fire and being told stories and given good drinks to drink while I'm listening to them. So if any of that sounds like your kind of thing, that might be for you. Next up, Urizen. They're magic. They're magic. They like reading. I don't know much about Urizen, I'm sorry. They're magic. They're kind of like high elves, but they're not elves because there's no elves. So yeah, Urizen are, if you enjoy the, oh my god, there's a cat off screen, has just jumped super cool onto a roof. If you enjoy kind of the scholastic game, the game about, you know when Frodo is like, or Bilbo's like, I've got this ring, and Gandalf just like fully fucks off for like 10 years to go into a library and like ponder his tomes. That's kind of like Urizen, and then you all get together and blow up a mountain with your words or something. I don't know. Then there is Wintermark, and I'm not really meant to say Vikings. I'm really not meant to say Vikings, but Wintermark are, I believe, 3 smaller nations come together to be one people, and they are really cool. They follow skeins, which is kind of like stories, or skeins, I should know this, I really should know this. And that's all about, like, everybody has a story, and it's about making the most of your story, and there's loads of cool, they have like totemic stuff, so like people will have animals emblazoned like bears or crows or foxes. It's all really, really, really cool. There's a lot of like Nordic inspiration in their kit. Wintermark are really fun and really cool, and I think, maybe I'm wrong, but the biggest nation in the Empire. Then we have Navarre, who may also be the biggest nation in the Empire. It's one of them anyway. Navarre are a nomadic culture. They were the first people in the Empire. They're the successors of the original Empire that existed before ours, that was destroyed when they fiddled with magic too hard and everything kind of went tits up. The Navarri are kind of close to wood elves, would be the vibe I have for them. They, as I said, are nomadic. They are generally kind of, they would fight with like dexterity. They'd have daggers, they'd have bows and arrows. They'd have short swords, quick swords. They move through the woods. They like to dance. They like to sing. They exult in the moment and the joy of life. And they fucking love trees. And they fucking hate when trees get up and start walking around. They really hate that. So that's the Navari game. It's super fun if you like telling a story, if you like playing music, if you like running through the woods really, really fast with a dagger in your hand and nothing but hope and sadness in your heart, then you might like Navar. Then there's Dawn. We're the best. We are shiny. We like the sun and we like flags. We like charging. We like swords. We like shields. We like magic. We also like songs, but they're not as good. That's us. Dawn is big Arthurian game. So if you like Clank, if you like, you know, standing there and talking to a million people who will react to anything you say, no matter how good or bad, by going,
Glory!
glory! Then Dawn is the nation for you. Outside of Dawn, then we have Highguard, who are like Dawn, but without the joie de vivre, and instead replace that joie de vivre with hardline religious authoritative beliefs. That's Highguard. Highguard are also quite a clanky nation, but they are, I would say, probably by far the most religious game will be found in Highguard. So if you want to be an like agent of the Inquisition, or if you want to be like a wandering priest who helps people find themselves, that's absolutely something you can do, and in any nation really, but Highguard would be kind of the home for a lot of that stuff. Then we have the Imperial Orcs. The Imperial Orcs are amazing, but disclaimer, don't play an Imperial Orc unless you're okay with being in a latex mask in generally quite hot weather for a full weekend. That said, Imperial Orcs are some of the coolest game, I think, on the field, and I have nothing but mad respect for those players. Imperial Orcs players generally tend to explore themes of loyalty a lot, is what I've noticed. They have really, really cool hearth magic, which I'll talk about maybe in a little bit, maybe in another video. That's all about like the story of an object, or loyalty to your people, loyalty to the empire, loyalty to your ancestors, because orcs aren't like Imperials. They have like a different kind of afterlife and stuff, which is a whole thing I won't get into in this video. But the Imperial Orcs are an incredible bunch of players, and I've never played one, but I've been told are extremely welcoming for new players as well. So if that's something you want to do, that's something that Empire does really well, because not all orcs are bad guys in Empire, and I really like that about it. Right, what have I done? I've done the League, I've done Varushka, I've done the Marches, I've done Urizen, I've done Highguard, I've done Dawn, I've done Navar, I've done the Imperial Orcs, the Brass Coast. If you like to jingle and you like to jangle, and if a contract sounds like, if penning up a contract sounds like a good night out with the lads to you, the Brass Coast might be for you. The Brass Coast are very nautical themed. They're kind of Mediterranean in their dress, extremely colourful. They're big on trading. They're big on, as I said, doing up contracts. They're big on, a lot of the Brass Coast people I know are big on magic, but I don't think that's representative of the coast as a whole. They are all about family ties. Insert Fast and the Furious gif here. The Brass Coast are really, really fun, and some of the best players I hang around with. A lot of the Irish players are Brass Coast. Shout out the Dragonflies. Go trade with them. They're amazing. But yes, have I forgotten any nations? This is great content. I'm just walking through Anvil in my head, and I don't think I've forgotten anyone. Wintermark, Dawn, the Brass Coast, Imperial Orcs, Navar, the League, the Marches, Varushka, Urizen, Highguard. I think that's it. I think that's it, guys. I'm so sorry if I forgot someone, but they're all your nations. So read them, research them, see which one vibes with you, and then turn on your portable electronic device, be that a cellular telephone or a laptop, and go to profouddecisions.com. Then you're going to click up the top, make yourself an account, and once you're in, you're going, hold on. So, super funny story. At time of recording, Empire is actually about to start, which means that all of the wonderful people from Profound Decisions are actually in the field at the moment with the servers, which means I can't log in to screen record the process, but I do talk through it in some detail. So you should be able to follow along on your own screens without much hassle. And if you do have any questions, jump into our Discord or down in the comments below, and we're all too happy to help you out with them. And also it's profouddecisions.co.uk, not profouddecisions.com. Back in. I'm old. Once you're in, you're going to go to your account and then characters. We're going to click on create Empire character. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a welcome to the character creation wizard. So this process is divided into 4 steps. I'm going to try and avoid just reading this for you. The first step you're going to do is nation. Now, this is what we've just talked about. You're going to see a cool ring of illustrations here, and this is going to basically tell you which nation is which. So, I'm Dawnish. Let's build not a Dawnish person, shall we? For fun. Today, I'm going to make a Varushkin, because I love Varushka. So, you'll click on Varushkin, you'll get a little bit of a description here. So, Varushka is a land of hard lessons and dark tales. The Varushkins are unyielding and uncompromising. They do what must be done to keep the Empire strong. Now, you'll see next to that, there's a little question mark in a circle. If you click on that question mark in a circle, it will bring you to the Varushkin page, and you can see more information about it here. So we're going to click on Varushka. Then we're going to just move on to the next tab, which says skills. Now, this is where you're going to decide the broad archetype of your character. So, do you want to be a heavy knight with a sword and a shield, or an axe and a shield, or a cool Rohan-ass kind of fruit-tarty sword and a shield in Varushka? Or do you want to fight with 2 knives or 2 axes in Varushka, or 2 swords in Varushka? So, you're going to see here there's lots of different types of things you can do. Broad strokes, the first ones are combat skills. These are skills that both help you kill and not be killed in battle. Next up are heroic skills. These are also combat skills, but these are more in the moment abilities you can use. So if you're used to games, these are the kind of things you might use and assign to buttons, like, or 1 lets me swing my magic lightsaber or something. That's kind of what these are, and I'll go through them all very quickly in a minute. Then we have magical skills, because magic is a thing in Empire. Now, this isn't, you know, throwing a beanbag at someone and saying it's a fireball. It's more subtle than that in Empire, and it's more, in some ways, immediate when it comes to combat, and much less immediate when it's out of combat. Then we've got surgical skills. So this is if you want to play the healer, if you want to be running around the battlefield, you know, resetting bones, like forcing tonics down people's throat to get them up when they're down. That's what this is. Then we've got crafting skills. If you want to play an artisan, that's what that is. And then religious skills. And there's a lot to the religious game that I'll talk about a little bit. So just to go through these very quickly. Combat skills. Thrown. Do you want to fuck someone up from afar? Take this, throw a knife. Ambidexterity. Ambidexterity. Thank you. Is stabbing someone once every second not enough for you? Then take ambidexterity, which will let you use 2 weapons, so you can fight with 2 hands. Weapon Master. In Empire, Weapon Master means that you can basically use every weapon, and that is to say big weapons. So if you want to go out there with a billhook or a greatsword or a spear, chances are you're going to need Weapon Master, and that's if the weapon is over a certain length that I'll display here on screen. Marksman. Do you want to fuck someone up from even further away than you do with your knife? Take Marksman. It's a bow and arrow. Pew pew pew. Shield. Self-explanatory. Scared of somebody fucking you up from a great distance, or with 2 weapons, or close up? Take shield. Put something big between you and them. Or if you want to be really heroic, put something big between your friends and them, and then you take the gut wound, and everybody will sing songs about it for years to come. Fortitude. Fortitude, when you go down in Empire, you go into a bleed count. That means you have X amount of time to stay alive until somebody gets to you and fixes you. If they don't, Fortitude makes that number X plus 1. So you can stack Fortitude. So basically, you just takes you longer to die. Do you like suffering? Because then you might like Fortitude, you fucking masochist. Endurance. Endurance is just health. Stack endurance, you get more health. Every time you click the endurance button, you get an extra point of health. Dreadnought. Do you, like me, wearing like... That's what I said, and I stand by it. Do you, like me, enjoy wearing lots of armor? Do you like making this noise when you move? Well, the Dreadnought skill rewards you for doing so. So if you want to have a little extra health from armor, Dreadnought will give you that. Moving on to heroic skills, Hero. So to start, just to let you know, when you're doing this stuff, you have 8 character points, so 8 experience points. Some of these abilities cost more than others. For example, Prone costs 1 skill point. Shield costs 2, Archery costs 4, because Archery is a character-defining trait for the most part. If you want to use heroic skills, magical skills, surgical skills, crafting skills, or religious skills, you'll see when you go into those tabs, most everything is grayed out except for the first one. What that first ability is in each of these windows is you unlocking that trait. So if I wanted to choose a heroic skill, I would first have to take Hero, which costs 2 skills, and then I can choose. So that basically means that your character is heroic and can do all this big AAA stuff. So to go through them very quickly, extra hero points. When you're using heroic abilities, they cost a resource called hero points. You can just stack this button to get more hero points. The next one is stay with me. Is your friend stabbed? Has your friend been stabbed by an orc? Are they on the ground bleeding? Would you like to do something about that? Do you want that thing to be revenge? If all of those questions, but the last one, are no, I would take stay with me. This ability lets you just kind of get your friend up off the ground. You could be like, hey, you bleeding? And they'd be like, quite severely. And you could be like, would you like help? And they'd be like, quite severely. And then you would say, stay with me. And after some appropriate role play, you can get them up off the ground. So it's a way to save your friends. Get it together. Has your friend been stabbed? Are they not dead yet? Do you say, do you feel bad? And they say, yeah, I do. Do you want some help? They say, yeah, I do. And then you can say, get it together. And after some appropriate role play, they'll get some more health. So it's kind of like a combat heal. Relentless. There are lots of abilities in this game that will destroy your limbs. Only pretend, you're fine. So if I'm fighting and I hold up my hand to hit someone and then an arrow hits me and impales me, or somebody hits me here and says cleave, I lose the use of this. It's gone. I can't use it anymore. But if I take the ability Relentless, I can go, I am relentless, and then I'll be able to use this hand again. So you can spend a hero point to regain the use of a limb. Next up, Unstoppable. Have I been stabbed? Yes. Am I on the ground? Yes. Am I bleeding out? Yes. Is death certain? Maybe. Am I stoppable? Fuck no. I am unstoppable. And I intend to use this skill, yell that word really loud, make a big fuss, and get back up with 1 health point. And that's what Unstoppable is. Also, if you're not on the ground, you can use Unstoppable to restore 3 health points. Cleaving Strike. You see someone, they've not got armor, you hit them with your sword, you spend a hero point, you say cleave, and then they can't use their arm anymore. Mortal Blow, that's the same thing. Basically, Cleave is for one-handed weapons, Mortal Blow is for anything bigger than that. Mighty Strike Down. If you're using most often a polearm, you can strike someone down with this. You spend a hero point, you call Strike Down. If you hit them, they have to go onto the ground, they have to go onto their back or their bum, and then they can get up, but it's a way of just putting someone on the ground. And that's all the heroic skills. Moving on to magical skills. Magician, same thing. unlocks the traits. Extra mana, same thing, stack it for extra mana points, which is the resource for magicians. Extra spell. Now you have a limit to the amount of spells you can take. Everybody gets 3 spells to start off with. That's Speak with Dead, Detect Magic, and Open Portal. Every magician can do that. And that's free. You don't need to spend experience points on them. There are lots of spells you can take. I won't go through them now, but you can get more spells with extra spell, and you can stack that. Battle Mage allows you to be a combat magician, which I did for a long time, and it's really, really fun. They fight with either a rod or a staff, and they have the use of certain spells like Entangle to tangle someone to the ground, Repel to send them far away, Shatter to break someone's weapon. Very, very immediate, very combat-focused stuff. All of those spells are here. You'll get to choose them later on in your options section. So we're going to go for Magician. We're going to be a Varushkan Magician. I am going to take Extra Spell and Battle Mage. Now, if you want to be a Ritualist, you're going to see Spring Lore, Summer Lore, Autumn Lore, Winter Lore, Day Lore, and Night Lore. They're all the different realms. In Empire, magic is all realmatic. So if you want to do big bombastic magic spells, you'll go Summer. If you want to do super creepy, kind of scary, people like you but they don't want to be around you magic, you might go for Winter or Night Lore. So that's again another character choice. And if you look at the wiki, you can see all the realms, you can get a vibe for them, and the Eternals, which are like the demigods of those planes as well. They'll be big in your game. Surgical skills, very, very simple. Chirurgeon, whatever that is, that lets you be a healer. Like a physical healer, like a real world doctor. You'll be resetting bones, you'll be doing all that sort of stuff. That's Physic. So Chirurgeon activates the skill tree. Physic gives you the healing ability. Apothecary lets you make potions, and then, you know what, we'll be a healer as well. I'm going to take Apothecary. And then extra recipes, same thing again, lets you kind of stack more recipes in the book of things you can make. Crafting skills is the exact same, but instead of making potions, you're making armor, or weapons, or magic items, that kind of thing. So you take the artisan skill to unlock that skill tree, and then basically you can choose later on in your options the different items and stuff you'd like to make, and then you can stack your points into extra items. So artisans are always popular in Empire. Always, because everybody wants magic items. Magic items in the field look like this. At the moment in the game, my mantle here is enchanted. I've got it to be heavy armor, so I get an extra hit point or some nonsense. My wonderful artisan and brother, Joey, has made this for me. And then finally, religious skills. So the religious game is extremely broad. It covers a lot of topics because the Empire is a theocracy. So the religious players, the priests, they function as, you know, if you're me, life coaches. They also function as somewhat the police, also heads of state. They also function as the moral guide for the Empire. They function as the secret police. They function as the inquisitors. They function as the troubadours and the voices of the people. It's a really, really wide game. So to go through these very, very quickly, dedication unlocks your ability to be a priest, and you're going to have to choose one of the virtues. Now again, hit the question mark here, you'll learn all about the virtues. I'm a priest of ambition. I want people to set a goal and go and achieve that goal. I'll try and do all the virtues. There's ambition, there's loyalty, there's courage, there's pride, there's prosperity, there's wisdom, there is vigilance, loyalty. Have I said loyalty? There's loyalty. How many virtues are there? Fuck, there's 9, I think. I don't know. 7 virtues. I think I've done it. It's fine. But they're all the virtues. The virtues are not what make you a good person in the real world, but they do make you a virtuous citizen in Empire. So the game for a priest revolves entirely around those virtues. So you choose all your abilities here, you get your broad archetype, you can mix and match a bit if you want, and at this point it's really important to say that if you decide you make a character here and you just don't like it, after your first game, Profound Decisions PD are more than happy to just let you do all that again. They'll just reset your character for free. and you can do it all again, because maybe you are being a priest and you're like, okay, cool, and then you see someone over there hacking off limbs and going, cleave, cleave, and you're like, I want to be like them. You can do that. So free respec after your first event. Now, moving on to the next tab, which is options. So your first thing you're going to see is your personal resource, and this is how you make money in the game for the most part. There's lots of different ways, or lots of different resources. There's businesses, congregations, farms, fleets, herb gardens, mana sites, and military units. There's also forests and mines, and these are all kind of different things. A business will just flat give you money at the start of an event. You roleplay whatever it is, you know, that's fine. You can make things and sell it in the game if you want. You don't need a business to do that either. It just gives you money. It's what you do if you just want some money and don't want to have to play a game around this. Next up is congregation. If you're a priest, your congregation is basically like your parish, I guess, and that's going to give you mana for the most part. It also, if you have a congregation, it means you can raise motions in the synod and affect the game that way. So it's basically a little personal lever you can pull to try and change the world of Empire. Farm. A farm is a farm. It's going to give you resources, I think. I've never had a farm. Honestly, I don't know. Find out here. A fleet. A fleet is, you have a fleet of ships. That's really fun because at the end of every event, you get to choose where your fleet goes. So you can spend time in the game like researching and being like, oh, actually, I heard that in Axos, if you send your fleet there, they've got a huge amount of like dragon bones, and if you send your fleet there, you might get some. So there's like fun game around that. Herb garden. This is if you are playing the potion game, if you want to make potions, herb garden is good because you can grow herbs that are used for potions. Mana site gives you mana. If you're a magician, maybe take a mana site. It's super handy to have extra mana. Mana is the resource. There's two types of mana. There's personal mana, which exists in your soul, and then there's crystal mana, which is kind of like drugs for wizards, and they use it to, they crack one and they do a spell. Then there's military unit, and military unit is really interesting because that lets you play the military game where you can say, okay, I have this army, the generals are asking that I send it here, 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 and you can choose to support armies that are doing different things, and that will have like broad effects on the military game of Empire. Then there's forest. A forest will give you a different type of resource. It might be dragon bone, it might be weirwood. There's loads of different kind of woods and cool stuff you can get. And then mine, exact same thing. You'll get kind of like mineral resources from a mine. At the top of this, you'll see territory. Your territory is just where you're from. So we have chosen a Varushkin. So you can see that I'm given the options Karov, Karsk, Mikarova, Ossium, or Volodmarts. So that's basically like, where do you want your character to be based in the game? And there's plenty of maps of Empire. All of this is available on the wiki as well. You can go to Varushka, you can see the history of all these places, what they're about, all that kind of stuff, and you can make a choice. Maybe you have a group of friends who are already playing. What I would say is if you are coming into the game with a group of friends, make sure you're all from the same place. It does kind of help because then you'll be voting in the same Senate elections and all that kind of stuff, which is political. Now, you will have another option here. So this is where, remember where I chose Magician? This is where I'll get to choose my spells, that kind of thing. So you'll have other options here based on what you did. So we're going to choose Heal. We're going to be a healing wizard. And that's basically everything you've got for character creation. The last thing is details. Oh God, hold on. I didn't click all the buttons I was meant to click. Okay, cool. We have a Beggar's Lie Forest. Now, the next one is details. So this is where you input your character's name. I'm going to call him Fizzywig. Fizzywig the Varushkin. Don't call your character something like that. Do a bit of research here, because this is where your character needs to fit into the world. So if you go to the wiki and you go to the page for your nation, you'll see that they have a core brief for the nation. And the second option there is the people. And generally in the people section, it will give you naming policies. So if we look at the Varushkin one here, you can see that it kind of gives you the breakdown on how Varushkin names are formed. So Varushkin names are primarily Slavic in flavor. Yes. Adult names are usually three-part: a first name that carries meaning in itself, a second part that is like your paternal or matronymic. paternal or maternal kind of, and then they'd have like ovich, ovana, in, of, ev, eva, ova, ina, or similar suffixes. And then there's a family name that's usually derived from your vale, which is like your group. And then they'll also have examples of names. So this one actually links to Slavic names, the Wikipedia thing, and there's a nice list of names. So we're going to be, what's a cool name? Vuk. Vuk, meaning wolf. So we're going to be Vuk, and then I'll come up with a surname after that. Anyway, so all the information you'll need to name your character is there on that page. So the next thing we need to do is on the details page, we are going to look at our archetype. So this is where we can say, okay, what do I want to be in my nation? So in Dawn, that could be a knight errant, or a questing knight, or an earl, or a yeofolk, or a troubadour. And this is where you go into the Wikipedia again, and you'll see that all of this stuff is laid out in your core brief, what all of these things mean. Knowing what I know about Wintermark, I want to be a warden. I think that's cool. I want to protect the roads and the villages from monsters and things that go woof in the night. So I'm going to choose warden as my archetype. Next, you're going to look at lineage. Now, lineage is big. Lineage in Empire is when realmatic magic seeps into your person and changes you both emotionally and physically. If you choose very carefully if you want to be a lineage person, because it comes with roleplay effects that you have to do, and it also comes with physical trappings that you have to wear to let people know that you're a lineage. Now, there's lots of different lineages. I'll try and list them. There is Naga, there is Changeling, there is Cambion, there is Briar, there is the scary ones that I can never name of. They're aligned with Soren the Knight. Ghost people, I can't remember their names, but they have white faces a lot of the time. Draugr, there are Draugrs, and there's one more that I'm missing. It's snake people, Naga and Mero, there's fish people. I think I got them all. But they come with trappings that you have to wear as well. It might be horns, it might be some kind of face paint, it might be markings on your face. It could be kind of elf ears, it could be a leonine mane. There's lots of different trappings. Some people use contact lenses. So if you do choose a lineage, just be very sure, because it's extremely hard to undo in game. If you want to try one out, there are ways to do that through roleplay before you fully commit to it. And you can always pick up a lineage in-game as well. So my advice would be not to lineage on your first character. Go into the game, exist around the lineages, learn them, see if there's any you like, and then lineage through gameplay would be my advice. The next tab is groups. So this is groups of players that you're aligned to. If you are coming into a group, that is perfect. Just pop their name in here with their permission, of course. So talk to them first, say, hey, I'm coming to Empire, can I be part of your group? Or if you're invited to be like, hey, come play Empire, we've got this group. You can find it here, you can put yourself to it. It could be a banner, it could be a covenant, it could be a sect, it could be an order. There's lots of different types of group. The main thing is don't select one of these without agreeing to the player who runs it or the group that runs it in the game first. That's generally considered kind of poor form. Character questions. This is just you filling out bits and bobs about your character. What are your character's main IC goals? Good to know. Do I want to slay my first orc in battle? Or do I want to pass my test of metal? Do I want to enchant my sword so I can be a better warden? How old is your character? They don't have to be as old as you. They can be younger. They can be older. What do you fear? That's always a really good question for roleplay. And we'll do a whole video on roleplay tips. And then background. Background is good. Try and ground yourself. Try and my advice would be, have one tie for your nation, have one tie for your archetype, have one tie for just yourself, for the Empire as well. So have 4 ties, nation, archetype, say group or personal, and then Empire. And if you have those ties, it might just be like, oh, I'm really interested in the Empire's relation with X foreign nation, the Commonwealth. Or it could be like, I'm a warden. I really, really want to talk to other wardens and find out what it's about. Your personal one could be like, I want to make my first throne, which is a big denomination of money. and you know, it's just a good way for you to tie yourself into the game when you're coming in. Next is you're done. Actually, next is you're done. You hit save character, and then your character will appear on your account. So if you go up to your account, hit characters, you'll see all of your characters here. Now I have a heap of them because I've been playing for a while. You'll also see groups. If you've made a group, it'll be there. So you can click into your character, you'll see basically your character sheet, for lack of a better word, and print this off as well, because you used to get these from PD, but now we're trying to be a little more conscious about printing off massive amounts of paper. So print this off for yourself or learn it. It'll give you your PID, which is really important. That's your player ID number, and you're going to need it for basically everything you do in the game. So take note of that. My advice is, if you have a notepad, write it on the back page of your notepad, and you'll always have it with you. It'll give you your nation, your lineage, bits and bobs about your character, all that kind of stuff. It'll show you your skills on the next tab. It'll show you your ribbons owned, so that's the kind of thing that you've got, like magic items bonded to you, stuff like that. It'll tell you spells that you've got, and then your background that you put in yourself. So that's how you make your character on the system. That's the first thing you do. Next thing you have to do is, you can't just walk in your modern clothes. So I won't go too much into this, but the main thing is, go to the first thing you want to do here when you're thinking about making your character is go to nations. Pick your nation. So we're going to go to Wintermark. And then in that core brief section, you're going to see look and feel. So you click on look and feel, and then you're going to get an overview of how the nation's looks, what the costumes kind of, how they're made, what they're meant to look like, what materials to use, what symbology not to use. So don't go, if you're in Wintermark, you might feel like, oh, hey, I'm going to have Mjolnir because I really like that, you know, kind of symbology. But that's actually not allowed. So there's a lot to look at here. Making a costume, when you look at the wiki, can be intimidating, because the photos on the wiki are of the top tier, the exemplary ones for that nation. This is what you should aim for. But, and I can't say this clearly enough, kit is aspirational. You don't have to look like this on your first go. And to show you that, here's me at my first Empire, right? That's 4 years away from me now, where I'm kind of happy with my costume, you know? So it'll break it down, it'll give you the look and feel, it'll give you the kind of inspirations, and most importantly, it'll have lots and lots and lots and lots of photos that you can look at and get inspo from. It'll say, if you're a priest, dress like this. If you're a child, dress like this. This is the kind of way you can decorate your camp, you know? Inappropriate costume. Avoid hero pants. Avoid Thor's hammer. Avoid horned helmets. I'm on Wintermark, I'm not on Varushka. It's really important that you do try. You don't have to nail it, but you do try to nail this. My best advice would be, get yourself some good base layers. Look what the base layers for your nation are. What pants do you need? What dresses do you need? And what's kind of the basic top you get, right? So get yourself kind of basic generic fantasy kit, and then just buy or make 1 or 2 items that will definitively tell people what nation you're in. So as a Dawnish player, that for me is my tabard. Tabards are very, very Dawnish, striking bright colors. All the armor and stuff says Dawn, yeah, that's fine. Lots of nations have armor though. But a tabard is very, very Dawnish. And then I might accentuate that with some flowers, which are typically an extremely Dawnish thing as well. So people at a glance can say, oh hey, you're Dawnish. I can tell by your tabard and flowers, and interact with me as such. Because the first few times Dylan and I played the game, we were kind of nation agnostic looking, and people kind of couldn't tell what we are. We got misnationed a lot as Navarre. So our first 3 or 4 games, we were actually, we're from, we started saying Devon. We're from Dawn, but we used to say, we're about as close to Navarre as you can get while still being in Dawn. But that can make for a complicated game. So unless you want some weird reason that you've just come from this nation and moved to this nation, try and hit your nation brief. But it's not hard, and you don't have to buy a huge amount of kit. Get some basic cheap kit to begin with, and 1 or 2 kind of silhouette pieces to just firmly plant you into your nation. And as far as making a character goes, that's basically it. I would say as well, maybe get involved in some of the online Empire communities, get talking to a few people before you get to the game. There's a million. Facebook has nation pages for all of the different nations. There's Discords for all of the nations where you can jump in and be like, hey, I've just made a Varushkin character, but I fucked up and went on the Wintermark page on the wiki. Have you got any advice? How can I build my character? You know, what kind of game is there going on at the moment? And people are always just all too happy to help out, because that's something you'll notice. People who like LARP will tell you they like LARP, and then they won't shut up, and then they'll be in your life forever talking about LARP. You can't get rid of us. So yeah, join some online communities, go to some events, obviously, and look at player events like Castles and Contracts, a player event right here in Ireland. And that's something that is being run by a group of Irish friends that we have who are extremely competent role players and extremely competent organisers of LARP. So go check out Castles and Contracts. Tickets are on sale now. It's going to take place in Wexford. It's a sanctioned event, which means that everything that happens in it is canonical to the story of Empire, which is really cool, and it could be a fun way to dip your toe into the world of LARP without having to go over to the UK, or without having to travel, or without having to go into a field with 5,000 people who are all talking about one really specific thing that happened in a little body of text online that you haven't seen. So it's going to be a fun event, and yeah, I'm going to be there. Dylan's going to be there. A lot of the Empire community are going to be there. So yeah, maybe go check out Castles and Contracts. I fully, wholeheartedly recommend it. I, Jim Toohey, endorse this message. But for this video, I have rambled on long enough, and ramble is exactly what I have done. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Again, we're only too happy to help out. We love answering questions. Join us on our Discord, which will be linked in our profiles and in this video. And if you're going to go to Empire and you want to buy a ticket, use one of our referral codes down below, because that will not only give you €15 off your next ticket, it'll give us €15 off our next ticket, which, when you are flying to the UK 4 times a year, really, really helps. Other than that, if you're into all this kind of stuff, go check out our podcast, Hearthfire Tales. It's a really cool D&D actual play. We adventure in Lethuan, a world of might, magic, and metal. And then as well, we have Fake Swords, Real Feelings, which you're watching now. And that's a whole series on LARP, how to get into it, what it's all about, specifically often shot in a ditch. So yeah, it's fun. It's exactly this, but there's 2 of us and the energy is higher. And then if you like sword fighting, go check out Way of the Heron. It's all on this channel. We've condensed it all into one thing because we're media minded. And yes, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Editing Jim here again, just popping back at the end of the video to say, 1, at this moment in time, everybody else is off in the UK in a field playing Empire, and I'm here in some kind of magpie-infested infinite bracken field, which is really sad. But I will be going somewhere very, very exciting next week, and if you're a fan of this channel in particular, I know it's going to be of interest to you, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And secondly, if you found this video useful and you are starting out for Empire, go check out our playlists. We have loads of other videos that are insanely useful for new players of Empire. We have 10 things you should know about Empire LARP. We have 10 more things you should know about Empire LARP. We have ways to make the most of your first Empire. We have a breakdown on how combat and all the calls work in Empire in much greater detail than we did here, with examples in the field. So there's loads there for you to dig your teeth into if you've caught the Empire bug and you want to get into it. So go make yourself a coffee, and if you have some time, why don't you give them a look too. Until then, have a good day, and I can't wait to see you all in the field.